So she...
Feces. Excuse me. There they are. Hi, puppies.
Good morning, sir. If you could, please tell us your name and spell your last name.
So my name is Gaspar Aparicio, Aparicio, and basically what I witnessed was when the officers first started coming, they brought their weapons out, kind of giving her warning signs. Basically escalated to the point where they, got all together, started trying to go in, and apparently she threw hot oil at one of them, and the officer had to come, took everything off from him besides his undershirt.
Did it look like he was hit in the face?
No, it was mostly, I think, his arms, mainly his right arm, because it looked like it was covered more in oil. Okay. But it was probably like, I think they mentioned it was like first-degree burns, because it didn't really look like there was like bubbles or anything on there.
But he went to the hospital.
I'm assuming they took him because firefighters came, paramedics, and so they probably took him away. But it's been escalating even more since then. So,
well, your neighbors were telling us that it started last night, and this woman was throwing things, glass and feces, and then cussing people out, threatening to kill people. Did you hear any of that?
Apparently it happened, but I didn't hear anything until this morning, like around 10:30. So,
okay. Do you know this person?
I don't.
Okay. Anything you'd like to add, sir?
I don't think so. It's mind blowing. I didn't expect this from the neighborhood. So, yeah.
Pretty quiet neighborhood.
Yeah, basically.
Sir, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
Everybody has matches here. Be safe, guys.
So either way, he wants you to do it. They want you to hold?
Try and negotiate with her. That didn't work out so well. One of the officers ended up getting hot oil thrown on him. He was transported by paramedics. He's received no movement or contact from her recently, or you guys? That I don't know, okay. And I wouldn't be sharing that because part of the tactical.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Probably just have to cut it.
could, please start with your name, spell your last name and position.
It's Adam Sharkey, SHARKI, Lieutenant, San Diego Police Department, Public Information Officer.
Thank you, sir. Can you tell us what's going on today?
Just before 10 o'clock this morning, San Diego Police Department received a radio call from the neighbors here who said that a woman was throwing glass bottles and making threats from a second-story balcony.
Lieutenant, what do we know about this woman, and particularly, do we know anything about her background?
We do. I'm not releasing that information at this time, but what I can say is early in the incident, a PERT unit, which is a psychiatric emergency response team, was called just in case that was going to be a factor in this situation. At some point, there was a confrontation between this woman and officers. That woman actually took what we believe to be hot oil or grease and threw it in the face of one of the officers. That officer is injured. He was taken to a local hospital by ambulance and received treatment. It was a uniformed officer. There's a PERT clinician, which is not a peace officer. They're a licensed clinician. And then there are officers that are specifically trained in working with PERT clinicians. They ride together in the same car. The person who was injured was a police officer. He's receiving treatment at the hospital, and I'll have a better update after this event resolves.
Now, why was the SWAT team called in? We're still active.
This is still an active scene. This event continued for about 3 hours. So the original radio call came in just before 10. Officers tried to negotiate and make contact with this woman, get her to come out peacefully for about 3 hours. After not making any progress, they called out the Special Weapons and Tactics team, and with that also comes the Emergency Negotiations team. They come together hand in hand. The idea is to keep this situation as de-escalated as possible while taking this woman safely into custody. The idea here is to use the minimal amount of force necessary and to preserve life as best we can. And that includes the life of the suspect. So I wouldn't call any of these things ordnance, because that's a military term, and this is not military grade equipment. We have a number of tools that we use that we can use to get someone's attention or to try and persuade them to come out of a barricaded position, such as a situation like where they may be in an apartment or a house and barricaded themselves inside. They would come out on their terms, right? Which is what we're trying to do. Have this person come out on their terms using the least amount of force necessary. I can't get into the tactics. Obviously, this is an active scene. What we're trying to do is to de-escalate the situation as best we can and have this person come out peacefully.
Now, has she communicated since the oil incident?
I can't talk about that because it's obviously still an active scene.
Guys, I think we got a stretcher. So, might be picking her up quicker.
I don't have a radio plugged in, so I can't tell you any updates on that. But I can move out of the way.
Okay, so we were interrupted during the last talk with you. What's happened since?
So as you can see, officers have taken the suspect in this incident into custody. She's been identified as Carol Gavreau, G-A-U-V-R-E-A-U. She was born in 1963. She's currently in custody. She has an active felony with no bail warrant for her arrest for violating the conditions of her probation, assault with a deadly weapon, resisting arrest, leading officers on a pursuit, restraining order violations, and criminal threats. That is the outstanding warrant that she currently has. She'll also be charged for assaulting officers and assaulting neighbors earlier in the day, which is part of the radio call. Still an active investigation, but we should be getting things back to normal here at the scene here within the next half an hour or so as we get officers back into their cars and get all of our equipment out of here. Detectives are still going to be here at the scene as we wrap up at the location where this took place.
So you may not have an answer, but we noticed that she was bleeding from the side of her head. Did she resist officers inside, or was that from all the tools that were used?
I don't have that. I don't know if that was self-inflicted. I don't know if that was as a result of a use of force or if that was accidental. You guys were here when this all happened, so I don't have that information yet.
That she's in custody, that she's, I guess, back in custody. Is it a satisfying outcome for the police department to have her talking and being taken into custody at this point?
Well, at this point, she's not seriously injured, which is good. This is what de-escalation looks like. Unfortunately, it takes a lot of resources to make this sort of thing work. So you see several blocks of a neighborhood shut down, a lot of police resources being used for about 8 hours to get one person into custody. But we're able to take that person into custody with a minimal amount of force and minimal injuries to that person, and that's what success looks like.
She's been yelling incoherent statements for quite some time. Will she be placed on a 72-hour hold? Will she have psychiatric evaluation?
Well, as you saw, there are PERT clinicians on scene, but she is also facing criminal charges. So that's all part of this process as we move forward.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes?
How did anyone come last night? I was told two different neighbors called. I can't verify because I didn't call, but
I don't know, and I don't know if officers did in fact respond. So it's possible officers came out last night. I don't know. There could have been a delay in response, but I could find that out. I just don't have that right now. It's a great question, though.
Lieutenant, how was
Sir?
she taken into custody?
I don't know. I was here with you all. So I know that there are techniques being used to try and bring her out. I don't know if she came out on her own or if officers went inside and got her. I don't know that yet.
Thank you, sir.
Anything else, ladies and gentlemen?
No, thanks.
The only thing I would say while I still have everybody rolling is we do appreciate the community's patience. We know that we basically shut down this neighborhood for a full 8 hours today and we inconvenienced a lot of people. We appreciate everybody's patience as we try and resolve these situations peacefully. I do have an update on the officer. The officer who was injured was transported to the hospital where it was believed that he suffered second-degree burns to his head, face, neck, and arms. We believe that the glasses that he was wearing probably saved his eyes from very serious injury. He has been discharged after receiving treatment, so we're happy to hear that.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
All right.